So today I want to talk about the importance of dreaming big. So where to start? Well, I was inspired by something I saw recently, very recently. A young boy who's picked up a guitar as a toddler. His dad's a musician, his dad's got a studio. He cannot read music, or at the time he started, couldn't read music, but just really took to playing the guitar, like listening to music, learning riffs, and playing. So much so that he decided to that he wanted. Sorry, I've just got a message coming across my screen. So much so that he decided to attend a concert where he was watching a band play and he was ready. He was ready. He took a sign that said, "Pick me to come and play with your band." So, of course, the band is singing away, and then they see this boy with this sign and decide to take a chance and get the boy, in this case, Jake, to come up on stage and play. And do you know what I love most about this story, having watched the video? He blew them out of the water. He was amazing. Of course, he was amazing. And the rest, as they say, is history. But why am I talking about this story and the importance of dreaming? Well, it's quite funny that for many people that work in a corporate setting, especially if they work in a business where they're not the boss, but they are senior, they've got a lot of responsibilities. Somehow, as they go through their daily work, they sometimes forget the importance of dreaming, or in this case, visioning, looking at what's possible, what seems impossible for the organisation, but what could be achieved. And I've been really lucky that in my working years, I worked for a couple of companies that had these kinds of visions. They had these kinds of big dreams. Now, on this occasion, I always say there's no such thing as good, bad, right, or wrong. And I also believe, small, big to a point. But the reason I call this dreaming big and the importance of dreaming big is because sometimes we do vision what we want, what our next step is. We do dream or think about where we're going in terms of strategy, but we don't allow ourselves to dream bigger than the goal that we had for ourselves. And what that actually does is it shuts down creativity, it shuts down possibility, and it can shut down opportunities too. So, on today's video, I really want to encourage you to look at an area of your life. It could be your professional life, it could be your personal life, because quite often the two things are tied very tightly together when it comes to being visible. And look at the dreams, the visions, the goals, the plans that you have or that the company has, and how you can just turn the heat up on them a bit, stretch them just that little bit more to go for and above the thing that you were originally thinking about. Take a moment, and anything that comes to mind as I'm speaking to you, make a note of it somewhere, write it down. It's easy to forget. And it's easy to talk ourselves out of it. Oh, but I can't because this. Oh, but it's not going to be possible because, yeah, but if I do that, then this will happen. Yeah, that might be all right for you, Jenny. You're self employed, but when you're employed, you can't do this. Or you're more of a risk taker than I am, or you don't have the responsibility that I have. I've heard everything across the board, whether you're a ambitious business owner or whether you are an employee and you are looking to raise your professional profile even more in your industry. I've heard it all. So what to do about it? Well, the first thing is to identify the goal, and then almost like the stretch goal. What's the thing that feels big, takes your breath away, makes you gasp a bit, makes you get a bit of a kind of jelly feeling in your stomach? What's that thing? And sometimes the jelly feeling in your stomach is because, well, I'm going to have to go and propose this to the rest of the board. I'm going to have to get buy-in from the stakeholders, and if you're a business that, are providing services as I do to quite big companies and corporates, you have to get them to buy into the idea. And quite often, the easiest way to have anybody buy into an idea is not to make it up and force it on them. It's to identify what it is that they need and whether you can help and go in there even more. So people might think, well, it's okay for you, Jenny. You've spoken at Google. I've always wanted to speak at Google. Well, you've done it. Or it's all right for you, Jenny. You were a judge for the British Chamber of Commerce, on their panel. It's all right for you. You've done that thing. Tick the box. All of those are true, by the way. But actually, it's not about the thing. It's never about the thing. So let me share something from my life that really demonstrates this point. Now, anybody who knows me, and a lot of people who actually work with me and follow me have got to know me and know me well. Anyone that knows me knows that I came from very humble beginnings. I'm not going to say I was poor, scraping for food in a gully somewhere. I didn't have that kind of upbringing, thankfully. But I came from very humble beginnings. And at the start of my humble beginnings journey, I would have a couple of different jobs on the go. I'd have part-time job as well as my full-time job. And I remember one particular instance where um, on this occasion, I was waitressing with a crew of other people, and this was a private party. So it was quite unusual. Normally, it was like weddings and big functions and things like that on site of a particular area in the east of England. But on this occasion, we were hired to waitress or serve at a private party. Now, I'm sure I was a teenager, kind of late stage teenager. And at that point, I was just like, yep, I've got a gig. It's on a Sunday. Whoopee, I get paid double time. I'm going to be there all day. Got to be at the office for 9 o'clock, and we're going to be taken to this venue. And they haven't told us where it is or anything, but we're going to be taken there. So I duly got there with my nice, ironed white blouse and my black skirt and, my black shoes and my hair tied back and all of the things that you're supposed to do, and met up with our leader, who was the head lady, a really, really lovely lady. Lost contact with her many years ago and often think about her and wonder what she's doing and if she's still around. So we get in this minibus and we're travelling outside of the city that we lived in, probably about 20 minutes outside. And then we're in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. There's just big fields and trees. And there is a main motorway, but we're now on like a little B road and there's nothing around. And I'm thinking, gosh, where are we going to be going to? And then all of a sudden, the driver literally slams on his brakes, slows down, turns left, and we're going up this really narrow, slightly muddy path, but very narrow path, tree lined path. I swear we drive up there for about a mile and a half, and then everything opens up in front of me. The most massive driveway that I have ever seen with my eyes. This property, like even today, and I'm sure it still exists, this property, even today, would be featured on an ultra premium property program for sure. So we all kind of like, we're looking at this place. Is this where we're going to be working today, in this massive property? And you could see the land around it. There were so many things. I'm not going to give the identity or the place of this property. But we were commissioned on that day to celebrate a business founder and business owner who had reached a big milestone in their business. And I remember at the time, the milestone, they shared with us what the milestone was. I couldn't even comprehend it in my mind. This wasn't just a big dream or a big plan or a big goal of somebody else's. This was like mind blowing to me. So they were having a private party to celebrate this particular milestone in their business. I was wowed. So they showed us through, showed us where we could put our things, gave us a tour of the property. I mean, I kid you not, it took some time. We were there early. It took some time. And even the tour that we got of the property was only part of the property, which, by the way, you could tour on foot or on a buggy. We did a smaller, shorter tour on foot because we needed to see where we were going to be. So we went into the room, the reception room where all the guests were to be gathering and meeting. And there was like a big plunge pool. There were balloons all arranged coming out of the plunge pool. There was the most spectacular view. There was a really nice kind of bar all set up in the side, all important to us. And the thing that I remember, and again, I come from humble beginnings, and I've had a lot of amazing experiences throughout my life. But I remember going into the changing rooms and just seeing these cubicles with these beautifully folded Ralph Lauren towels in each place, all ready for the guests. If they decided that they wanted to take the plunge, they had a towel there. Now, for those of you who have experienced Ralph Lauren towels, I'm sure this hasn't changed over the years. And I know there's other brands out there too. These towels were the thickest, most absorbent, fluffiest branded towels that I'd seen. Like literally, you could sleep on one folded up because it felt like a mattress. It was amazing. There's so much more about that day I could share with you. But here's why I'm sharing this. What I learned that day was that it's okay to dream big. It's okay to plan for something. I was fortunate enough to actually speak to the owner very briefly, which of course, from a place of service, you're invisible, you blend into the background. And this owner really joyously shared how this vision came to fruition and how so many people had said, this is not going to happen. You're not going to do this. This is never going to work. But they did it anyway. And they had a party to celebrate it. And we were there. It was the most amazing experience. And very, for a young person of my age, it left a massive impression on me. It showed me the things that were possible. Like I say, there's so much more to this story I could share. I won't. But I really want to invite you to do a couple of things, because sometimes the reason that we stilt ourselves when it comes to dreaming bigger and seeing the bigger picture is we don't believe in the possibility. So I slurped my water there. Sometimes we don't believe in the possibility because we haven't experienced it, we haven't seen it, we haven't touched it, we haven't been in close proximity to it. So this is an important thing. Be in close proximity to touching your dreams, touching your visions, touching your goals, touching your plans, number one. The next thing is, this is the importance of visioning and dreaming. And there are some schools of thoughts that will tell you, hold yourself publicly accountable, tell everybody about the thing that you're dreaming and visioning, which to a point can be true. But I also believe that sometimes our dreams, our goals, and our plans are things that are private to us. It's almost like planting a seed. And in the same way that we plant a seed in some soil, we don't keep scratching the surface every day, digging it up, looking to see how it's doing. So sometimes it means putting it in there and nurturing it. And the way you nurture it is so important. And how we nurture our dreams, our goals, and our plans is how we think about our goals, how we expand our goals, what we do to nurture our dreams. And if you're going to nurture your dream, it pays, much like a plant or a seed, to water it daily. That could be brain food, which I talked about on yesterday's video. But if you want some kind of tips of very specific things to do, then do go over and check out Instagram. I'm at the Queen of Being Seen on Instagram, and you'll see the reel on my grid to watch, where I give you some kind of ideas to go through different things to help self-motivate or to know what to do to kind of reset. That is nurturing our dreams. That's nurturing our lives. That's nurturing our visibility journey. And not everybody will get it, and that's okay. I'm not here to evangelize or persuade you that you have to do something a certain way. But I know from the people that I've been honored to share this work with over the years, people have gone on to do things that they never thought possible. The whole range of things, which started off as a professional conversation, from being promoted to very senior level management, to thinking that they maybe didn't have a chance to work within a specific company, to thinking that they didn't have a chance of starting a family, to thinking that maybe the relationship that they were in wasn't the right relationship or searching for a relationship, to being able to like shed the guilt of somebody close to them feeling that, you know, they were doing the wrong thing. There's been so many, like, at the beginning of it, it felt like this is too big, too scary, too bold. I can't do this. And I really love the saying that the word impossible spells I'm possible. So here's what I would love you to take from today. And, you know, if there's anything else that you get from this and you'd love to share, I'd love you to share it too. And okay, if not, but, you know, do remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, because you'll see even more stuff that I'm sharing, even in between these daily lives. If you're on LinkedIn, by all means follow me, but why not hit the connect button? I will pretty much accept most connection requests, as long as you don't flood me with, hey, look at your YouTube channel, you could do with more subscribers and I've got the magic pill for you. I'm a bit bored of those. I get a number of those a week with exactly the same text. So, you know, other than that, hit connect. Don't even have to send me a message if you don't want to, and I'll be happy to connect with you. And that way you can see some of the stuff I do, and I can see some of the stuff you do too, because I'm nosy by nature like that. And then if you're on Facebook and you're watching this, and you've got maybe a business bestie or a friend and who you think could do with a bit of dreaming big too, then send them this page or invite them to like this page too. I'll be grateful to you. So, in summary, when it comes to dreaming big and visioning, it's a reason why it's one of the important sort of key parts of the key pillars of the visibility vibe system. The first one, the V, and I put a section in there called visioning. And a number of you have been asking, like, what is this? And you've heard me speak somewhere, or you've seen something that I've posted maybe on LinkedIn or online somewhere, and you have sent me messages to say, oh my gosh, I've done the thing, I'm more visible, check me out, or this thing's happened, or I've got the job, or I've been able to ask for more money, or I've been able to position myself in this way, I've got the gig. So many things that warm my heart, but many of the people that watch me from afar don't get to see. So here's why, and this is the most important piece. Here's why I do what I do. I was journaling some stuff down this morning. And there's three things that I want to share with you today, because this is where motivation meets visibility. So the first thing is, I refuse as a person to become tough or to become cold in order to be seen as successful. That's just not who I am, you know? And if that makes you walk on by, want to tell me how to do it in a different way, your way, then maybe that's your journey to go on, and allow me to kind of go on my path. But I refuse for you to replace real with polished. This is the most important thing. So many people stop on their path of being real because they think they have to be polished, they have to have a certain demeanor, and they get this twisted with personal branding. Okay, I have had the most delicious pinch me moments, and I champion, I champion for you to be real, not polished. And the other thing you'll often hear me say is, your voice matters. And what I mean by that is, I refuse for you to be silenced. There's always ways that you can articulate your value. There's always ways that you can articulate what you do and what you do for other people too. There's always ways that you can sell your services, ways you can share your stories, be more you, make an impact, be more visible, talk about your visions and dreams. There's always many different ways you can do that, but I refuse for you to be silenced. Go forth, be seen, be heard, be visible. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.